Welcome, Poland fans. Ron Stone here, Outlawed Live. It's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Same time every Tuesday night. We go live here talking about anything and everything outlaw pulling. We are 1 week closer to the 2025 pulling season. Who out there can't wait? I know I'm getting pretty excited about it. I got a lot of people tuning in already tonight, so I'm going to try to keep up with all the comments. Harlan Brown says hi. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. Case Conover early on the list tonight, watching from Lytle, Texas. Case fan down there in the Lone Star State. We've got Adam Cerv on the show tonight, another Case fan. We tried to have him on last week. We had some technical difficulties. Still don't know what the heck was going on, but we've got him on this week. I told him if we could, we'd bring him on again. That way we could do the full spotlight on him here with When the Smoke Clears. So you get a double shot of When the Smoke Clears tonight. You get some 3200 Superfield, and you get some Pro Stock 4x4 tonight. We also have DJ Luhrs, or DJ Luhrs on tonight. I'm sorry, DJ Luhrs out of Iowa on tonight. It's representing the Mopar camp in Pro Stock 4-wheel drive. So we got Case being represented tonight and Mopar Dodge. Mark Willis watching from Carrollton, Missouri. Zook Fukerberg early tonight. Must have knocked off work earlier that, or he's watching from the shop. Alan Ulmer, light super stock puller out there, watching from Minnow, South Dakota. Harlan Brown, he come on and said hi. Now he says got to do homework. Bye. Okay, we'll see you, Harlan. Chris Pierce, working in the field in South Dakota. So welcome everybody to another edition. It's just going to be me tonight. I think Mike said he would chime in if he could. Mike also told me that he had something going on at school, and it's also his wife Domenica's birthday. So I said, Mike, why don't you just take the evening off? Don't get yourself into trouble. Spend the evening with your wife there, Domenica's. Happy birthday, Domenica Idol, here tonight as well. She is 29 years old. Actually, I'm not sure how old Domenica is, but happy birthday, Domenica Idol. So what's going on out there? Let us know where you're watching from, everybody. Yes, we do have trucks. We have trucks and tractors on here. So, yep, stay tuned. So, double shot of When the Smoke Clears tonight. We had a little mix-up. We didn't have the bio for Adam Cerv last week. And then, for some reason, Adam was backstage, but I couldn't see him to bring it on. He actually sent me a picture, showed me he was backstage, but I couldn't see him from my control room here. So, something was going on with the platform or something happening. So, we'll bring him on again tonight here in just a few minutes. Robert Miner, checking in from Niobrara, Nebraska. Welcome. We're getting close, everybody, to having that final schedule out, so be patient. We want to make sure we get, when we label it the final schedule, we want it to be the final schedule. So we're still waiting on a few contracts before we want to put that out and say it is final as far as classes and such. Denise Carey Wade from Kingsland, Georgia, DJ's aunt. All right, cool. Tina Berger watching from Wilbur, Nebraska. Can't wait for Ravenna. That is our first hook of the season, first weekend in June. Going to kick us off on the 2025 season. Zook Fukerberg says happy birthday to Mike's wife, Domenica. Thanks, Doug Voth. Doug Voth, one of the promoters there for one of our June pulls down in Lindsay, Texas. They're the last weekend of June. Going to be a big deal there, taking us back to Lindsay. And of course, everyone out there knows or should know that Whitewright, Texas is no longer. There'll not be another pull in Whitewright, Texas. 49 years of pulling there. So Lindsay, Texas, which is about the same distance from Dallas-Fort Worth as Whitewright was, except going west instead of east of I-35, is going to take that weekend. So they have that last weekend in June. Friday and Saturday night. I've got the schedule right here. I'm going to throw those dates at you instead of just throwing weekends at you. If you're new to the show, type in on your keyboard there. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm going to put my Clark Kents on here. First pull of the season is June 6th and 7th in Ravenna, Nebraska. That's going to kick it all off just to go through the month of June. On the 20th of June is a Friday night. We'll be in Norfolk, Nebraska, as well as Cambridge, Illinois. First time being there. And then on June the 21st, a Saturday, we'll be in Donaldson, Iowa. Now, that's the hometown of Hoganics Midwest. It's going to be a big deal there. There's some extra money for some classes being put up by Hoganics Midwest, in addition to the Hoganics Summer Sweep, which we'll be announcing here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Going to be a huge deal. That purse for that sweep going up a big time, from $5,000 to $8,000 per class. June the 27th and 28th, we are in Lindsay, Texas. And the 28th also, we are in Manila, Iowa. So that's the month of June. We won't go through the whole schedule here, but you can find it if you go to outlawpulling.com, our official website, and you can find that schedule on there. So be aware, don't download it now and keep it throughout the season, because there might be some changes. This is not the final schedule. It is the tentative schedule. So until you see the word final on the label for that schedule, don't download it and take it as the gospel for the season. We don't want any pullers, especially, or fans, showing up at an event expecting to see a class, and it was ditched back in March or April for another class. So Ben Beller, good evening, Ron. Listen, in the sprayer, top dressing wheat down in Howard, Kansas. Good deal. Robert Miner, anything new in the outlaw truck and tractor pulling world? We do have a new sponsor coming on board. We don't have the press release ready for that yet. Still going through all those things. So we do have another sponsor, another new sponsor, I should say, in addition to Ag Protect One that came on board. Meister Repair in West Point, Nebraska, is also a sponsor this year of the Light Limited Pro Stock class. So that other sponsor, I'm not going to let it out of the bag just yet till we have that press release. Hoping to have that maybe by next Tuesday, so we can put out the press release. They can put out the press release, and we can bring somebody from representing that company on the show. So I'm sorry, I was answering Robert Miner's question. I neglected to put it up. So we've got Adam Cerv back in the makeup in the dressing room, and it looks like he's ready to go. And I've got, let's see, Alan Ulmer sending me pictures of his tractor. He's a lot farther along than a lot of folks are. I don't know if I can get that on the show here while I'm talking. I'll try here in a little bit, Alan, but thanks for sending that in. So without further ado, we'll go ahead. It's going to be a busy show. We're going to bring on Adam Cerv out of the state of Nebraska. He has a case in the 3200 Super Field class. He is also the class representative there as well. One of the few, I think maybe the only case in that class, if I remember right. We'll let him fill us in. But Adam Cerv, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Good. I was just talking. I don't know if you heard. Do you have the only case in that 3200 class?
Yes. At one time, I think there was another one being built, but it's just still in process, and I don't know if it'll actually turn out to be a super field tractor or not. It might go bigger.
It might morph into something else, huh?
Right, right.
Now, your tractor, tell us about your tractor first. It's an interesting tractor. What edition is this tractor? And of course, it is a black case. It's a demonstrator, right?
Yes. I actually bought it as a farm tractor back in 2017, 16, 17, and then farm pulled with it for a year or two, and then slowly made the change to what was 3,000 RPM. And then after we got it kind of that far, it just, I don't know, it just made more sense probably just to bite the bullet and go to 3,200. So that's what we did. And it's not it's painted like a Black Knight, but it is not a true Black Knight. But I always enjoyed the black paint scheme, so that was my choice.
Well, you didn't have to ruin it for all of us. Here we had us all fooled thinking it was. So what year is that tractor?
It is actually a 1970, so it would have been, early enough to be a demonstrator.
Okay. When I was a kid, I had one of those Erdl tractors. It was the 1976, the Spirit of 76 edition, Right. Yeah.
That was my second option. That was my second choice. If I wasn't going to go black with it, then a Spirit would have been was option two.
So have you always been a case guy?
Well, on the farm we had John Deere and then case. So yeah, I was always grew up with the 970, and then in 2290 was later on. But yeah, our when I was really little, our big tractor was our 970. So have been around them for, most of my life when we were in farming.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I didn't grow up on a big farm, but my grandpa had 53 case. I think it was like a high crop. I've rarely seen one, even researching it on the internet.
Right.
It was kind of a unique tractor. And then I can't remember the year of the other one. It was like an 870 triple drive gas, tricycle front end. Still have that one actually, but yeah, that's what I learned how to drive on was the old case tractors. I've always been a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's, the 970 we had was a power shift. And a lot of people think the 70 series were, and they mostly were power shifts, but this was actually an 8-speed gear drive, from the get-go. So
Alan Ulmer is watching. We'll take some questions if anybody has them out there. If you got a question for Adam Cerv, just type them in there and hit the enter button. Alan Ulmer says that used to be Tim Blancaspor's tractor.
And Tim pulled it in Rock Valley a couple of years ago when I couldn't make it. But no, that was a tractor out of like I said, we bought it in Minnesota. We were almost in Canada when we went and picked that thing up.
So how did you get started in pulling? You went over a little bit the 3,000 RPM class, but what got you hooked initially?
Well, yeah, when I was little, my dad pulled his John Deere 4010 quite a bit, and then when the bush pullers started, he didn't want to make that jump, so it was put back to farm duty. And as a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, I was crushed that we were no longer tractor pulling. And then later in my high school years, we got it back out again and farm pulled with it for a few years, and then got married and had a family. And Dad was talking about getting that 4010 redone to go on tractor drives. And so I thought, well, maybe one more time before we get it all painted up, we should go tractor pulling with it. And that's what kind of bit the bug. It bit me again, and got started on it again. And like I said, when we first bought this tractor, we were just farm pulling with it. And then I decided I wanted to go a little bit faster. So that's how we made the switch, I guess.
Gotcha. All right. Now since I got you on here, I'm going to go ahead and play the video. We got a little video piece here. And of course your hero card. Then we got your bio, and I'll pull that out as well and chat with you a little bit about that. I'm going to go ahead and run that right now. There we go. I'll get this right here. All right. And well, it's not letting me pull your bio up. So let's just talk through your bio here if we could, Adam. I'm sorry, I'm having all kinds of problems here. It's not where it's supposed to be, but
it's all right.
You're in what town there in Nebraska?
Clarkson, Nebraska. We're just about 7 miles east of Lee. So I went to school and I graduated from Lee, so that's just didn't go very far.
Okay, you know that Brian Four guy over there?
Oh yes.
You actually tell people you know him, huh?
There we go. Yep.
Good dude. Just giving him a hard time. Zook Fukerberg says Rod Gage Shuttle Black Knight is a beautiful tractor like the case tractors. Carl Kahn is your friend when you have a case.
Right.
You know who that is?
Yeah. Yeah. Up in Wisconsin. I talk to him pretty regularly. Yeah, he's the go-to case guy for a lot of knowledge.
All right, we're gonna test your brain here, your case trivia here,
Oh boy.
Adam.
Okay.
Hey, are you ready?
Yeah.
What the symbol for Case IH or Case tractors, JI Case, was an eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the name of that eagle is?
Yeah. Old Abe.
Old Abe.
Yeah.
Wisconsin War Eagle. Awesome.
There you go. Yeah, that was just I always thought that was one of Case's biggest mistakes of getting rid of that as their logo when they went to the 70 series.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that was an actual, that's based on an actual bird that was part of a Wisconsin cavalry regiment.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. A little bit of history there for Case tractors.
Yeah, then when they started the 70 series, they decided to rebrand and got rid of it, and that was, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. It was based on an actual bird there. So your most memorable pulling experience, if you had one you could pull out of the hat there, that's just always right there at the top of your brain, what would it be?
Well, that at this point is my in 2023 when I won in Cherokee, that was my first win, and to this date my only win right now. I've had some seconds and thirds, but that's a pretty competitive class, so that one stands out, and nobody except for my dad came along with me that day, so it was everybody was like, well, how'd you do? I was like, well, we won.
I feel for you there. That happened to me as well. My first win came and there was like nobody there,
right,
family or anything. It was just like, oh, I won, just got to take it back and tell everybody. So your wildest ride on a tractor?
That was with this tractor, but it was we were in Randolph, Iowa. It really wasn't wild. It just got rough. The front end was pulling up and down, and it was bouncing, and ended up breaking the front tire off. And but I mean, it wasn't like it was going crazy. It was just banging the front end up and down.
You ever have one that just kind of scared you a little bit?
No, thank goodness. No, I haven't really had it. That thing is pretty tame, so
yeah. Well, you're used to it, for somebody who's never been on it, it may not be so much, but you get used to it after driving it so much, kind of like some of these guys on these crazy mini rods, they'd tell you, it's not bad, but you or I jumped on there would scare the daylights out of us, I'm sure, the first few times, but
right.
So your favorite place to pull, where would it be?
Of course I got to say Lee, just because it's my hometown. And then, Rock Valley, that they put on a good show there. And then on pull on the Heartland side too, Ashton always has a good pull, and Palmer, that's just a neat setup out there. I always like going out there. He built that track out on his farm place, and there's an old, big old red barn out there, and he has guardrails and everything set up on there, and Big Iron sponsors, help sponsor with them, and it's it's growing every year.
That Lee, Nebraska pull, that's a great pull right there for a county fair. The fans come out and they're the kind of fans, and I told Mike Idle, he did that pull last year. I did it the year before, and I told him when I had to go do another one, I said, you're going to like that pull, trust me.
Right.
It's the kind of crowd that makes an announcer's job easy, because when a crowd is not responsive to what's going on the track or the things you're saying, you try to get them more involved, and it feels like more of a job. And that crowd there is just amazing. They are very responsive. They know what's happening out there on the track, and it's just awesome to announce that show, and a full house too. I mean, they bring the people out.
Yeah, that's, I mean, as long as I can remember, there's that fair has had a tractor pull, and it's a free fair, so it's like everybody can get in. It's one of the best pulling events around.
Yeah, it's a great place. Kaylee Toom, I heard you plugging the Ashton pull, so she said, "Whoop whoop, love to hear it there." So they appreciate that.
You bet.
So in your class, I mean, I think I know what you're going to say, but who do you fear the most as far as the toughest guys out there?
Oh, well, Gary, Kavanaugh, he's tough. Casey Asmus, Franklin's with their tractor, that, they're the AGCO. I mean, that tractor can be competitive. Jason Ranke, Joe Meyer last year, that tractor really
woke up
doing quite well until he broke it right at the end of the season.
Yes, several of the guys in your class closing that gap a little bit. I mean, it's getting a little tighter. I mean, it's not just it used to be, Kavanaugh come out there and, before him it was Ron Fix, and it was just like, if you were
Ron's going to be back out this year. I talked to him about a month or so, maybe 2 months ago, and he sounded like he was going to try and come back out again this year. So I hope so.
If you were a betting person and Full Pull Picks had that class in there, I mean, the odds favorite, would have been Fix, and then Kavanaugh. But you guys are closing the gap on those guys pretty quick.
Right. Yeah. Always everybody's working to, that class just keeps getting more and more competitive, and it's getting tougher every year, I think.
Yeah, it makes you start searching for that little advantage, the not looking for the big horsepower, but looking for the this and that and the little bit of weight, whatever to try to, start really searching and start digging for those advantages. But I mean, you might actually be at a little bit of a disadvantage. I mean, case tractors have always been known to be a little higher geared than everybody else, right?
Yeah, we've switched gears in it, so hopefully we've taken care of that, but it is probably still on the high side.
Yeah.
Unless I was going to say, I just need to find some more horsepower. Then I don't have, then it's probably geared about right.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They always say they're high geared, but you just got to have the horsepower to turn it. And you don't have any problems with that.
That's right.
So what's your
the last couple of years being started out, as a, fairly new to this, I was like, well, maybe I need tires or this or that. And really what it comes down to is you just need more horsepower.
So how important are tires in your class? I mean, get the tires cut, having them sharpened and things like that. Is that important in that class with the lower wheel speeds?
I don't know that it is. I mean, I think getting your tractor balanced is probably a better, gets better results than the tires. We last year we had one of the new sets of pro pullers in there, and then Gary runs, and Casey and several of those other guys will run the Firestone deep treads. I'm still running the radial all tractions, but I don't know. I think it. I don't know that it's as critical as probably the higher horsepower tractors.
Yeah. Where are you guys at on horsepower? 700, 800, somewhere in there?
Yeah. I would say, they're 8+ is probably the top end. Into the 8s, and low 7s probably on the lower end.
Okay. Anybody new? I mean, you're the class representative of the 3200 Superfield class. Anybody else going to jump in there this year? Any rookies?
Well, there was a couple of them that came out last year that hadn't been out for a while. Sam Hikus, he had pulled a few years ago and kind of got out, and now his boy was in high school, and they came out to West Point, and it sounded like this year maybe they'd be out a little bit more, and then Geese. I can't think of his first name right now. He was Papillion, and that was another tractor that had been out. John Deere. Both of those are John Deere's, and haven't seen them for several years. In the bigger in Outlaw and or with the bush pullers. So to me, it sounded like both of those guys were planning on coming out more this year, which is good.
So what have you done, or what do you do in the off season to get your tractor ready for the next season? Anything special? You check anything out?
Well, at the probably middle of last third of the season last year, I was having some issues with my RPM, and I sent my pump in, and I still haven't got it back. that was in September. So there's a whole long story on that, and we're working on that. And
when do you start getting nervous about that?
Yeah. Last year I missed Norfolk last year because I got it running on Tuesday, and we were going to go dyno it, and which we did. And then last year was the first season of this tractor being it was a 504 up until last year, and now it is a 466. So it was pretty much a brand new engine last year, and went to the dyno, and it was not very good, and had an air leak that we took a while to figure out where it was at, and once we got that taken care of, it kind of corrected most of it, and then we just then it got easier to dial it in a little bit. But yeah, I need to I'm waiting to get that pump back, and we're actually having a different pump built for it, and then we're gonna go back to the dyno and tune everything, and
so you have I know you have a family, Adam. How many kids do you have?
I have two girls. They're both young, in the workforce now. They're both, one's a teacher and one's a guidance counselor.
Are they pulling fans?
Yeah, they like to come and cheer me on, and got a couple of granddaughters and now a grandson. So hopefully, they all enjoy it too.
Awesome. They never wanted to get on the tractor and try it themselves, or?
Oh, I think they will.
Oh, they will. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. But hey, you know what it's like once you get on there and pull, you get hooked, and hey, we've got another puller with the Outlaws, right?
Right. There you go. Yeah, I had my son-in-law pull last year just at a county fair, just did an exhibition hook and let him try it out. Cause my dad has pulled it a couple of times, and but that's about it. And so I thought, it'd be a good idea for somebody else to just drive it and get some experience. And that way, in the event that I can't make it, like in Rock Valley a couple of years ago, my sister happened to get married that weekend, so I couldn't make it. We went up there Friday night and left the tractor up there, and then let Tim Blankenspoor pull it on Saturday. So other than that, it's hasn't had too many other people drive it.
That is an unwritten rule in the pulling world, is no weddings during pulling season.
Right.
And I always
when she told me that, I was like, that's got to be the worst weekend there is for this. But oh well.
I always try to sell it to people as like fall weddings are beautiful because of the leaves and everything, and it's not too hot. Spring weddings, everything's turning green. That's perfect. I mean, summer is too hot for weddings. So
right.
So what do you do for a living, Adam?
Well, now I'm a banker, but I started out as farmed with my dad and went to the John Deere Ag Techs program in Milford. I was the class right after Fred Petch moved on to the John Deere Training Center there. And I did that for a few years, and I actually was a auto mechanic for another 7 or 8 years after that. And then decided I didn't want to be breaking my back the rest of my life. So I went back to school for,
right.
Got a business degree and started at a bank, the bank here in town, and I've been there for this is my 22nd year now. So,
wow, awesome. So you work at the bank, so that can pullers actually get a loan for a pulling vehicle at the bank right now? What
well,
kind of rates are you looking at?
yeah, the rates are there. You go. That's a tough one.
Good deal. Good deal. Anybody you want to thank, Adam, that's helped you along the way here? Any sponsors or family or anything?
Oh, yeah, my family, obviously, yeah, they've, I spent a lot of late nights working on it, and my wife is okay with that for the most part, and their support, my mom and dad, and Steve Cavan, I talk to Steve quite a bit too, and that's where we go to dyno, and he's helped me out a lot, Carl Kahn, and so those are, yeah,
right.
Appreciate all the help.
Awesome. So this 2024 was what, your third year pulling Outlaw in the super field class?
Yes. 20, 24, 23, 20. Yeah. Yep. And
23 and 24. So you were 2 years.
Yeah. So yeah, 20, and then 2020 was a bad year. I had some issues with the tractor and didn't get it figured out until late in the season. And then 21 was kind of when we got going with it more on the higher level.
Yeah. So a few years in, and you finished this past season runner-up to the champion. Not too bad, man.
Thanks.
Keep plugging away.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Keep plugging away. Hey, you know what? We love having you. Love having you be part of the Outlaws. Tell the family we said hi, Adam, and thanks so much for coming on tonight, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, bye.
Adam Cerv, class rep in the 3200 super field class, drives that black case tractor called the Black Knight. Finished second in points this past season. Not too bad. That class pretty competitive. They are limited to 3,200 RPM and lots of restrictions on them, and they have to really do their homework in whether it comes to tires or engine, the balance of the tractor, everything. They've got to have their A game when they come to a pull with the Outlaws in that 3,200 Superfield class. So thank you, Adam Cerv, for taking the time out tonight. I know we tried to get him on last week, and we had some technical difficulties, but we've got our second guest in the makeup room right now. Actually, we may want to wait a minute. He looks like he may need a little bit more back there, so we may give him a little more time back there. They may need a spatula or something back there, some putty knives or something to get him fixed up. No, we'll bring him on. DJ Luhrs out of Fontanelle, Iowa. How's it going, buddy?
Going pretty good. How's Ron doing tonight?
Doing good. I got that right, didn't I? Fontanelle, is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
And hey, I got that from memory. I didn't even have to look at your bio for that. That's pretty good. As far as I'm going, I forget my name if I don't hear it once or twice a day. But Pro Stock 4x4, and you're one of the minorities in the class, driving a Dodge. Always been a Dodge guy?
We have. We've been Dodge around here since I can remember. That's all we've ever had and played with, and kind of been in the family for quite a few years, I guess.
Always been into the Mopars. You ever do any racing or anything with the Dodge cars? Or
we did. When I turned 16, we started out doing figure 8 racing, and we played around with that, done some demo derby stuff, and always tinkering around with something or helping somebody else. And so we raced probably, I don't know, from 16 when we quit. I think 2006 probably was the last time I raced. And
were you racing Mopar then?
Yep. We had
probably a minority there too, weren't you?
We were pretty well the only one out there. We started out. We had a couple old Chrysler Cordobas we raced, and we went to.
Did it have Corinthian leather?
No leather. No leather.
Do you remember those commercials, or am I showing my age here?
No, I don't remember that. I think you're before my time there.
Do you remember a show called Fantasy Island?
Yes, I do
Had
remember that.
the plane. Geez, I don't know why I remember his name. Ricardo Montalban was the lead guy, and he did a commercial for the Chrysler Cordoba back there in the 70s. And he said, with rich Corinthian leather. And they said he made that up. There was no such thing as Corinthian leather, but they went with it in the TV ad. So,
oh gosh, this is gonna be a new thing at the polls. You're gonna be bringing this up now when you go to announce something here.
So, how long have you been pulling?
Well, we started pulling. The first time we went down the pulling track was in 2007. I think we kind of in 2000. Yeah, early 2007, Dad kind of had some health issues. He had a heart attack, and he was always involved in helped racing, but he could never get him to drive. And I thought maybe it was time to do something that maybe he'd have a little bit more fun with, and was getting a little wore out on the racing and tired of fixing bent up stuff all the time anyway.
Now it's just drivetrain stuff for the most part.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Drivetrain stuff. Matt Hamada is laughing, says good old Cordoba, said he's got one sitting in the shop there. Does it have the Corinthian leather, Matt? That's the question. Your Cordoba. Zook Fukerberg says, Case and Mopars in one night. This is great. So your truck, I mean, you've come really close several times, man, but you still haven't nabbed that win yet. What do you think for 2025?
I'm hoping to have a really good season in 25. We have definitely the polling has changed a lot since we started polling. Of course, we started out with an old 74 Dodge pickup, and we've still got it.
Ooh, I had a 74 Power Wagon.
It's different too. It's light green, almost a mint green, light green colored. We've had it for.
Yep, I've seen the pictures on your Facebook page. Yeah.
Yep. Grandpa and Grandma, I think they bought that truck in, I believe it was like 1976. And we used that, ran around all over on the farm with that while I was growing up. It was a 318 4-speed. We hauled hay, done all kinds of stuff with that pickup, and we drug it out of the fence row, and that's what we started with. That thing didn't have a straight side on it that wasn't rusty or bent or broke or something, and that's what we started pulling with. So
yeah, those are neat old trucks, man. Those old Power Wagons. I had a 74. It was gold. It was 318 automatic, but everything was just so basic. You know, just something about that's, you know, the rubber mat and the floor. But it's like everything's so accessible and everything pretty much is bolt on. You know what I mean? It's like.
Yep, they were pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty neat old trucks. I wish I still had that thing. I'll tell you that. I love the front ends on those old 74s, 73, 74, 75.
Yep.
But
so we
you Dodge guys, are you guys kind of cliquey at the pulls? Do you guys kind of hang out together?
Well, we have to do something to have somebody on our side. We got to kind of stick together. We're a minority.
Did you get as excited as I did there a couple of years ago when the Wild Thing won at Wisner?
Yes. Yep. Alan was wound up.
He was wound for sound. He had never thought he would win that pull. He was excited. That was pretty cool.
Yes. Yep. He was wound.
So what got you into pulling? I mean, how did you get hooked?
Well, we kind of went to some brush pulls. Brother-in-law Matt Strange, he was kind of playing around doing some pulling in brush pulls back then, and several other guys around home here that we knew, and just kind of started following them around a little bit. And so, you know, this would be all right. This would be pretty fun. So everything kind of escalated from there.
So were you literally hooked after that first time? You felt that hook thump when it hit the drawbar and you pulled the slack out of the chain? There's just something about that. But were you hooked immediately?
I think so. I mean, of course, nothing went right the first time, and we try to be competitive, so that it was game was on then. Your buddies are making fun of you for having nothing but problems the first time you go out and hook on.
A little bit of nerves, I'm sure, there. The
Oh
first
yeah,
two or
lots.
three times, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing you probably can't find any videos of me from then.
Oh, they're out there. They're out there, buddy. We'll find them.
I know you will.
As a matter of fact, hold on here just a second. No, I'm kidding. Let me cue one up here.
We started out doing that, and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Done brush pulling and pulled with Midwest pullers around here home quite a bit. Oh, probably I don't know, I'll have the years messed up here, but 2012 or so, we probably started playing around with IMOs. We were traveling to Missouri a lot then. It's kind of interesting because when we started pulling with IMO, one of the nemesises there was Hammond Sr., Keith Sr.
Oh, yeah?
So we pulled against him pro street with IMO for quite a while. Went back and forth with him. And
was he as tough as Keith is out on the track?
They were competitive, yep. Yep. So now we've moved on, different truck, and got the new truck built, and that's been quite a road. A lot of stuff to learn in that game. And a lot of stuff we haven't learned yet, for sure.
Yeah, never stop learning, do you?
Nope, not at all. There's always something to learn and pick up on in this game.
Loretta Selman, can you see the comments on the screen there? She said you won the 4x4 shootout in Dixon last fall, 28 trucks.
That was a heck of a night. Yep. That was the first win we've had with that new truck. So that was definitely a good way to end last year, and everything was still running when we were done. So
that's a win right there.
It is. And there was definitely a lot of good running equipment there, and just everything fell right. And everything worked right. So
yeah, that's Dixon, Missouri. Is that where that was at?
Yep.
Yeah, no shortage of pro stock 4-wheel drives in the state of Missouri.
No, there is not. A lot of tough running trucks down there.
Now are you in that area south of Des Moines?
No, we're southwest. We're about 45 minutes west of Des Moines.
So there's quite a gaggle of pro stock 4x4s kind of in that area south of Des Moines there too. In Iowa, always seems to be. Speaking of your brother-in-law, are we going to see him back out on the track, or
he was talking about it? They've been working on some stuff, and I don't know. See how things go here this spring, but I think they'd like to get back out again.
That'd be awesome. Get another Dodge out there and increase the chances a little bit.
Yes. Yep.
Lots of Chevys. Zuck Fukerberg talking about the 10 grills on the old pickups.
Yeah.
Where did your old pickup go? You said you got this one's a new truck. Where'd the old one go?
It is still sitting in the shop. It's everybody gives me a pretty tough time when they stop by because it is dirtier than anybody's ever seen it before. But we started working on this new one, and we had to kind of pick one or the other. There wasn't the funds and time to try to do both at all, and so we've kind of devoted things towards the pro stock truck, and really wanted, I don't know, that was really intrigues me because it was very challenging, I guess, trying to figure stuff out and be able to even compete with a lot of the trucks in that class is something.
Probably frustrating at times, trying to figure out what it takes, I'm sure.
Yep, it definitely can be, but it's, I mean, the end of the day, you're doing it for fun. I guess you can't let it beat you down. It can be frustrating, but it's not going to do any good to get mad about it. Just keep after it.
I pulled in a class several years ago in the mid 2000s, up to like 2015. And it was a small cubic inch class, 33-inch DOT tires. And for the longest time, this one guy just always beat up on us unless, I read a track better than him. And finally, you know, what it took was just more horsepower. I spent more money and built a better motor, and then I was beating him regularly. So then I had to deal with 2 other guys that did the same thing I did. So yeah, it's a game trying to figure out how to stay up with somebody or even get ahead of them like that. So
yeah, it's never ending, but it's a lot of fun.
Mike Compton had a warning for me. I guess I should have put this up earlier. He says, watch you. You'll try to lead me astray.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Compton.
You don't have to take that from a Ford guy. Okay.
They sure do dish it out. He dishes a lot of it out. I don't know. You might have to help me out, Ron. These guys are always ganging up on me.
I'll try to hold him back here. You know, I grew up a Chevy guy, but always had that soft spot for Mopars. You know, I had an uncle that had a Mopar. I actually bought his old 72 Satellite Sebring Plus I owned for about a year. And it looked just like the Roadrunners, you know, that year, and the GTXs and 400 and the slapstick 727 automatic and all that. But pretty cool old car. But yeah, I always had a soft spot for the Mopars, really. So Chris Slaughter says, you're a great guy, always willing to help out.
If there's something I can help out with, I love to help. That's something.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, it helps a lot. I mean, things can be frustrating enough, and if there's something that can help with, or parts, or help work on something, if we can do it, I'm more than happy to try to help out.
Your aunt Denise down in Georgia chimed in earlier in the show, so she's watching. You got some family watching out of state here.
Oh boy.
Dave Walters wants to know if you've ever driven a Chevy.
So there's kind of a story here, because I blame Mr. Walters for costing me a lot of money on this whole situation.
For your addiction to pulling, huh?
I do. This is his fault that we ended up in the pro stock world. I tell him that all the time. And I had to call him earlier and ask him about the date, but he said it was 2018 when his daughter got married. I drove Tater out to Wisner.
Okay.
And that was it. It was time to start working towards a pro stock then.
That did it, huh? So it's his fault.
It is definitely Walters' fault. I blame it on him all the time.
So what do you do for a living, DJ?
For a living, I play with trash every day. I actually work over at a landfill, transfer station now.
Gotcha.
So director, manager over there at the transfer station.
Kids?
Got 2 kids. 8, daughter's 8, JC's 8, and Jackson's 10.
Okay.
So,
you got about 6 more years to drive your truck.
I keep telling him, I said, you get more and more interested in this stuff. I said, when you're old enough to drive, you can just take her all over.
Yeah. Or just, you know, put a B motor, an RB motor in that other truck and let him get started on that, you know. And
we could definitely do that. I think he could have a lot of fun with it to get stuff kind of going.
I'll tell you what, you get to that point, you know, when he's 16, 17 years old, you'll have as much fun watching him as you do pulling the truck. I bet.
Yep, I could believe that.
Yeah,
so that's another thing. It's all, the family's very involved. I mean, mom and dad and the kids and wife Stacy. If it wasn't for everybody on this end being involved and helping, things wouldn't work. I mean, that makes it all happen here. It's more of a family deal, and it gets us away during the summer. So it's kind of
something cool about the Outlaws too, and I'm sure you'll attest to that, is, you know, we call ourselves a family. And, you know, I mean, your competitors out there on the track, but I've had people come from other organizations and actually say they're not used to that atmosphere where everybody gets together at at the end of the night and is all eating at the same trailer and all hanging out and talking, about anything and everything pulling and I mean that's part of the draw I think for the Outlaws, in our schedule is everybody's so cool to each other. Everybody's treats everybody like family.
I would definitely agree with that big time. I mean, that's another thing. Once in a while, guys will kind of give us a hard time about traveling so much. People around here, it's like, the Outlaws is just a different group. I mean, everybody is very close. In our class, if somebody have a problem, something broke, if there's some way possible that you can have it fixed so they can make the hook or fixed for the next day, I think any one of them would be there trying to help out and get things going. That's worth a lot. I mean,
yeah, I talked to Al Ferguson one night here a couple of years ago or so, and he used to race circle track, and he said the difference being in an outlaw pull, hanging out with your competitors was just night and day from being at the circle track. He said, the other teams would not come help you fix your car to make it to a race like they do at the pulls. You know what I mean? He said they just didn't hang out like that. It was kind of a cutthroat deal,
Yep. Nope. It's a different group in a good way.
So I didn't run your video yet, so I want to do that before it gets too late here. So give me a second here, DJ, and I'll run this. These are put together by Mike Idle and Mackenzie Teeting from Beer Money Pulling Team. So I want to run. Let's run the video first, and I'll post the hero card up there. Here we go. There we go. How many RPMs you turning there?
I'd say on average, we'll probably run 93 to 95 on a pass.
93 to 95. That's awesome. So those Hemi 90, you run a Hemi 99, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
How plentiful are those motors now? Are there plenty of them out there? Or?
We've been pretty fortunate on getting our hands on a lot of parts. When we started this, that was kind of the only thing that was remotely cost effective that we could compete with in this class. Dodge just did not have and still does not have a lot of options to be competitive like Ford and Chevrolet does in this class, I don't believe. This really kind of gave us something that we can compete with, I think. We've had issues. Of course, everybody has issues. Anything can at any time, but the things we've had problems with have been a lot of silly things. Nothing build related. Most of it's been parts related, and it's just one of them things that it happens to anybody. Part of it's been our own fault because we've had a budget to work with to get stuff put together, and things weren't necessarily 100% when they went together. So that stuff will definitely bite you in this game, but we're just trying to do what we could to get out and get rolling, and I'm hoping we're getting closer to being on top of a good program here in a rotation of good service, I guess you'd say, on things. So it's tough to get going in all this.
Are you going to try to make the full schedule this year? Or?
I'd love to. We'll just kind of see how things all go. Definitely going to try to get out and get going right off if we can, but we'll see how things are going here.
Well, you make some pulls this year. I think you're going to get a win or two out there, man. I think you're really close. And yeah, you just kind of knocking on the door. You just got to kick it down now and get you a win or two out there. And what Chris Slaughter said, I think, is right about you always willing to help out, because I've seen you on the track helping other pullers in different classes and things out, and you always seem to be helping people out. So that says a lot about you as well. Do you know a guy named Adam Thomas?
Adam Thomas.
No?
Not ringing a bell right off here.
Oh, well, he might just be somebody that just came on. He said his wife's Traverse could outpull your truck. So I said, LOL. So we get those sometimes. Usually it's foreign, but I don't know if I thought maybe you knew him. I wasn't going to put it on there unless you knew him. So Miles Jumps. I think he's making a comment about somebody else's truck, the Alice Chalmers Orange there.
No, that's kind of an ongoing deal.
Really? Tell us the story there.
See, before we went to that Dixon pole where we ended up winning last fall, we'd changed a few things on the truck again, and everything went good, was in our favor. And after the pole, he was up there and he said, "What in the world? What'd you change?" And I said, "Well, it's that Alice Chalmers orange paint we put on the hitch, Miles." And he just that got him going on that deal.
Miles had a really good season.
He did. Yes.
Yeah, really
Miles is always very consistent and does real well.
Zook Fukerberg says, "What is a Hemi 99?" You want to tell him, or you want me to tell him? You might do a better job of telling him.
Well, I don't know if I'll do a better job of explaining it than you. It's
not a Hemi. That's the thing.
It is not a Hemi. It's a wedge combustion chamber, 100%. It does have plug going down through the valve cover, but it's what NHRA was running in pro stock competition in the late 90s, early 2000s. They labeled it as a Hemi for a publicity deal. Yeah, that's all it was.
5.7 Hemi. It just came out. They're putting them in the trucks, and they wanted to push the Hemi motto there. So
yep.
They slapped Hemi on there when it really wasn't a Hemi, because I know when you first saw these Mopar motors show up in pro stock pulling, a few guys were like, "Wait a minute, that's a Hemi." And I was the same way. I was like, "What? That's a Hemi?" And I had to talk to Matt, your brother-in-law, and he said, "No, it actually isn't a Hemi at all." So after that, I had to start digging and researching them. So
Matt he was kind of the one to help get that deal pushed in. 100%, I guess, on that, I think he might have brought some heads to some meetings and tried to explain kind of what it was, and help get that going a little bit there. So,
and that's a 4.9 4-space block too, right?
Yes, it is. Yep.
So the DRCE Chevys would be 4.9, and the Fords, of course, are 4.9. So it kind of levels the playing field a little bit more, gives you better heads to work with than Mopar would have for the B or RB motors. So
yep, definitely.
90, were they made in 99? I think that's right.
I believe that would be pretty accurate. Yep, very late 90s, early 2000s. I think that's probably how they got the 99 name out of that.
Okay. Your most memorable hook?
Well, it depends on how far back you want to go on that. I guess with the old 74, I'd have to say probably the Missouri State Fair. We ended up winning the Missouri State Fair down there in 2017. That was
with the old truck. Now that had a B motor in it, or?
It did. Yep. We ran a low deck. It was a 400 block, 470-inch deal. Old Max wedge iron heads on it. So, and it's still all together. Engine's still in it. We start it once in a while and run it, but we haven't made a hook with it for, probably a couple of years now, I'd say.
So it still has the motor in it. It could still pull.
Yeah. It's still all together.
So would you sell it to somebody gave you the right price for it, or right?
I don't think so. When we're building this new truck, I always told everybody, I said I'd probably sell the new one before I could let go of that one. It's got just been in the family so long that
Yeah.
a lot of history with that one.
What's your wildest ride?
Wildest ride? I don't know. I don't really know if we've had anything too crazy, I guess, for rides. We've been lucky that way. I'm not sure. Not sure what to give you on that one for
All
sure.
right. All right. Well, do you have anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors? Anybody that's helped you along the way? Or
Oh God, I don't
give me
know.
the floor here.
If if I start saying names, I'll sure forget people on that. Family for sure. I mean,
Leave
mom,
these guys
dad,
out to give you a hard time on here, though. You know what I mean?
there's a lot of guys. We yeah, Walters, you've got to watch out for him. we spend a lot of time together through the winters, me and Dave, and he's been over to the shop quite a bit helping this winter. We got a truck up there we're working on for Mr. Snyder. He's going to have some different equipment out this year, Gerald.
Oh, okay.
So
good deal.
So we've been working on that. He comes over and helps us me and him do a lot of chassis work together through the winter, I guess. We've tried to up our game by playing around with some of that, I guess. If we can keep things running consistent and play around with chassis work, we've been trying to do a lot more of that.
You'll never know if you don't try,
You've got to try things or you will not know.
Yeah. So awesome. So DJ, thanks so much for coming on tonight, man. Keep doing the Mopar fans proud out there. I think you got a win coming.
I hope so. We're going to try.
Buddy.
Hopefully we've got a good year coming this year.
Mike Compton says thanks to all the Ford guys that are watching too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get him back.
All right, buddy. DJ, thanks so much for coming on, man. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks, Ron.
Right, take care.
Bye.
All right. Awesome show. Awesome show. Hard to believe it's already that time. We're already well, Mark, I put you on there, buddy. I put your comment on there. There you go. So we put you on there, and Adam Thomas was on there. He was giving DJ a hard time, but yeah, your Traverse, buddy, would have to have a lot more horsepower to pull against these guys. They're making about 1,200, 1,250 on regular gasoline and just a carburetor. So thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Appreciate all of you out there in Outlaw Nation, all the super fans out there. We're going to keep marking off the days on the calendar till we get to that first weekend of June to Ravenna. I can't get here soon enough, but it will be here very soon, folks. So tune in next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central. Thanks to Mackenzie Teeting from Beer Money Pulling Team for putting those videos together. Thanks to Mike Idle getting those bios out there. Thanks to all you fans out there. Thanks to our guests, Adam Cerv and DJ Luhrs tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time on Outlawed Live.